part 2 of my top 10 Vegas tips. If you missed part 1, you gotta go check it out. It's in the video list and you can check that out. Next week we'll be back with more Vegas tips on a specific topic to be revealed later, so don't miss that. Probably have a video on Wednesday, probably something kind of along the line of what we did last Wednesday with the airport video. Got a lot of old footage, raw footage that I'm going to try to edit together and maybe make it a little more coherent, a little more enjoyable. So watch for that coming up. And we're only a month away from the winter Vegas trip, so after that you can expect a lot more new video, more or less live from Las Vegas. But without any further ado, let's get on to today's tips. And the first tip is don't rent a car. Okay? A lot of vacation destinations that you visit, the attractions are very spread out. And if you don't have a car, it's going to be hard to get around. You're either not going to see everything you want to see, or you're going to pay a lot of money on cabs, or I mean, some places have good public transportation, and actually Vegas has decent public transportation as well. But the thing about Las Vegas is most of what you want to see is in a fairly compact area, and a car is mostly going to get in your way. Now, if you're a person that always rents a car and it works for you, great, okay? But for a lot of folks, they're going to add that extra expense, take that extra time, the extra money. You know, most of the hotels anymore you have to pay to park. And then as often as not, the car ends up being almost an albatross, almost just something that's a bother. You know, if you like to have a few cocktails, hey, let's go to Fremont Street. Well, but yeah, we want to drink, and then we can't drive because what are we going to do with the car? So there are reasons that some people may have to rent a car. If you are very specifically staying, you know, out in Henderson or Summerlin or somewhere, and you're going to use that more or less as your base of operations, and you're, you know, going to do, you know, day trips out to the desert, check out the canyons, the dam, that kind of stuff, that's your primary purpose in going to Las Vegas, then hey, you need a car. But for most folks, they don't. And even if you do have some sort of things you want to see in the outskirts, consider just renting a car for the day. You know, most hotels will rent you a car. Now granted, the rate's going to be a little higher, but you know, not as high as if you've had to keep the car for 4 or 5 days. So, you know, if you want to go out and see Red Rock Canyon, or you want to drive out to Mount Charleston, or you want to drive out to Hoover Dam, or go check out Laughlin, great. Rent a car, but just when you need it. Most people will find that when you rent it, a lot of times you're just, you know, babysitting it until you take it back. It's an expense you don't need because, like I said, most of what you want to see is within a walking distance of where you're staying, or hopefully it is, because of my second piece of advice, and that is, when you go to Las Vegas, stay where you want to play. You know, that play doesn't necessarily just mean gambling. It could mean where there's the shows you want to see, where there's the restaurants you want to try, where there's the clubs or the bars you want to spend time at, whether it's the shopping that you want to do. Stay close to the action, okay? A lot of people, they'll, you know, particularly if you're booking one of these package trips, they'll see, oh my God, look how cheap this motel or hotel is. But it's 5 miles off the strip, okay? And so you're spending valuable vacation time, valuable personal time, getting back and forth from where you want to be. If you want to be off the strip, great. Then that's where you should stay. If you want to be downtown, great. That's where you should stay. But if you want to spend your time in the middle of the strip, to me, it's worth the money, worth the extra cost of the hotel to be where you want to be doing your activities. Otherwise, again, you're spending a lot of time just making your way back and forth from where you're sleeping to where you want to be. You know, and it's just not that much fun. You know, and even a small thing, and maybe it's just me, but I don't think it is, you know, how many times a day do you, when you're out and about, do you think, wow, I really kind of need to go back up to the room and get something? Or maybe I just need to go back to the room and take a nap for 45 minutes. If you're 5 or 10 miles away from your motel room, that's a big inconvenience. If it's across the street or it's, you know, a 10-minute walk away, not so much. Again, your time is valuable. You've limited vacation time. So if it's at all possible, stay where you want to be on your trip and don't have to do a commute 2 or 3 times a day. Regardless of where you stay, even if you stay where you want to play, my next piece of advice may be the most valuable piece of advice I can give you about Las Vegas, and one that many people will ignore and they will suffer from it. At 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning, you will see what appears frequently to be a MASH unit of very, in many cases, inebriated, tired-looking young women limping up and down the street carrying their fabulous heels. Don't be one of them. Your best piece of Vegas advice maybe ever is to wear comfortable shoes. Everything is farther away than it appears. You will walk far more than you expect to walk. You will walk farther than you expect to walk just getting back and forth from your hotel room. And that's if you stay in the hotel. Until you visited a Las Vegas mega resort, you have no idea the distances involved in anything. And you'll walk outside and say, hey, that hotel looks good, let's walk over there. It's just a block or 2 away. Yes, it's a mile or 2 away. Your feet will thank you. Again, as with the rental car, if you need a nice pair of shoes to go to a nice restaurant or a club or something, fine, wear them, but just wear them for that activity, okay? This is not the place for, 10-inch heels. It's not a place to break in a new pair of shoes, period, okay? This is a place where you want to have comfortable shoes. And while it sounds silly, like I said, it may be the best piece of advice that I can give you. Along those same lines, this is a controversial statement, and it may not apply to you if you're a 21-year-old college student, but for most of us, it's pretty good advice. Las Vegas encourages excess. It encourages you to spend more money than you should, to stay up later than you should, to drink more than you should, to gamble more than you should. And while those are all good things, don't overdo it, all right? Everyone kind of knows their limits. There's a pretty good idea of where they are. It's okay to stretch them a little bit, push a little bit beyond it. But do you really want to wake up one morning with a hangover so bad that you can't get out of bed all day? Is that how you want to spend one of your 3 full days in Las Vegas? I don't think it is. It's one thing to have a little headache, shake it off with a cup of coffee and an ibuprofen, but just be careful, okay? If it's 115 degrees outside, don't walk 5 miles. Do you really want to end up in an emergency room with heat stroke? You may think that the next $100 you gamble is going to win all your money back. It probably isn't, okay? So don't blow all your money gambling the first night and then have to stay in your room and watch reruns of the Golden Girls, okay? Nothing against the Golden Girls, but that's probably not why you went to Las Vegas. So maintain a little bit of a reason when it comes to excess. I enjoy all things in moderation, including excess. And again, maybe if you're a 22-year-old college guy who's used to drinking a keg every day. And again, that's the thing. You know your tolerance, all right? So just try to be reasonable with your unreasonability, because not everything will stay in Las Vegas, and not all stories have happy endings, even though the ones you see on TV and in movies typically do. Final piece, and again, these are in no specific order, but this is one that a lot of people still don't do. There's superstition around it, and there's some sort of a feeling that the casinos are trying to rip you off, but get and use that silly Players Club card, okay? If you're going to gamble at all, sometimes even if you're not going to gamble, you can earn points on that card by hotel stays, dining in certain restaurants, shopping in certain places. You want to use that card any place you can, okay? Because you're going to get something back for it. If someone said, hey, here's a coupon for $1 off a 40-pound bag of Cheerios, you wouldn't throw it away, you'd use it. Think of the Players Club card much as you would a store loyalty card. They're going to give, they're going to find out some things about what you do, what you play, how much you play, but they're going to give you things back. They're going to give you some sometimes you get discounts just for having the card, And in a lot of places, on some of the lower end hotels, whether they be off strip, downtown, or even on the strip, it doesn't take a whole lot of play on these cards to get something worthwhile. And something worthwhile in many cases can be a free or deeply discounted room, okay? It's going to vary by club. Talking about comps is beyond the scope of this particular video, though we probably will talk about it again in another video. But, if you're not using it, you're just leaving money on the table. So it's not going to affect whether you win or lose. All it is, use the card, don't gamble any more than you would otherwise. Day before you check out, go check with the people at the Players Club booth. Ask them, hey, did I earn anything here? And you may discover that, you get some money back, or that you can go eat at a nice restaurant, or even just a buffet, but it's something free just for remembering to stick that card in the slot. So there you go, there's our top 10 Vegas tips. They're not terribly specific, because specific tips tend to change over time. Most of these tips would have been applicable 10, 20 years ago. Not the one about ride sharing, they didn't have that back then. But if I give you a tip today about what buffet to eat at, it certainly wouldn't have been the same tip I would have given you 15 or 20 years ago. So these are very sort of broad tips, but I think if you follow this advice, particularly if you're new to Las Vegas and you don't quite know what to expect, I think you'll find out that, that most of this is pretty good advice. So once again, thank you so much for watching. If you've sat through this, hey, give us a thumbs up, because, hey, you might as well. If you've just stumbled upon this channel and you enjoyed this video, please check out some of the other videos. Please leave a comment below, and of course, don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be back here twice a week on the channel with new and exciting Vegas information. Until next time, hey, be lucky out there, and we'll see you soon.